We all know him as Golden Magne, BTS's mainstay dancer-vocalist with a smile that lights up the entire stadium. But what do we really know about the journey Jungkook took to get to the top? Behind the gleaming stage lights and the cheers of the army lies a story of struggle that is much deeper and more moving than you could ever imagine. Imagine a 15-year-old boy with as much courage as the city of Busan, leaving behind everything he knows to pursue a dream for which there are no guarantees. Many see his success only now, but they miss lonely years filled with pent-up longing. There was a certain moment in the old dormitory where she could only hug a pillow and cry silently, longing for the warmth of her family and the taste of her mother. It is the tears that fuel his secret, which turn longing into discipline and loneliness into steel determination. Who would have thought that behind his mighty body and impeccable performance, such great insecurity is hidden? Did you know Jungkook almost gave up because he didn't feel good enough compared to the other members? She spends extra hours in the rehearsal studio until her legs can barely support her body, all just to make sure she doesn't disappoint a single army. A hidden fact that may never have been revealed is about his selfless dedication. She secretly donates most of her earnings from her solo songs and projects to charitable foundations that support the education of underprivileged children, an act she never flaunts. This is not about imaging, but about a sincere heart. His journey is not an instant fairy tale. It is the story of a lost teenager who painstakingly discovers his true identity, not just as an idol, but as a human being full of sincerity, vulnerability, and strength that has unwittingly become the greatest inspiration for millions of people in the world. This is a side of Jungkook that transcends the stage, a narrative of how a boy with a fragile heart eventually grew into a man who became a strength to so many. He may look like an untouchable superstar, but in reality, Jungkook is a very human person with the same wounds and fears as US. Remember his first solo appearance? Most people saw the radiating confidence, but few knew that his hands were shaking so violently that he had to hide them in his trouser pockets. Every wow. What we say when we watch her perform complicated dance moves or top a high note is paid a very high price. Bruises all over the body, a hoarse voice from overtraining and sleepless nights. And who would have thought that the hero of our stage is actually a person who most often doubts himself? After each concert, she would sit alone in her dressing room and watch recordings of her performances, rummaging through every little mistake, every imperfection that no one noticed. The harshest criticism of Jungkook came from Jungkook himself. It's not about being a perfectionist, it's about the burning sense of responsibility he bears. The responsibility to repay every drop of love he receives from the army with impeccable performance. But behind all the pressure and demands, there is a heart that remains pure. In the midst of a crazy world tour schedule, he will find time to make a discreet video call with his family in Busan, speak in his native dialect, and for a moment, be just an ordinary Jungkook, not the Jungkook of BTS. It is those little moments that remind him of his roots, of the reason why he started all this. Jungkook's story is a powerful reminder that behind every success that looks glorious, there are always struggles that are not seen, tears that are never shown, and fears that are faced alone. It is a story that is not only about being an idol, but about being a human being who continues to learn, grow, and remain humble despite having touched the top of the world. And it is precisely in his vulnerability that his greatest strength lies. Every time he rises from doubt, every time he steps on stage even with trembling hands, he sends a silent message to everyone who notices him. It's okay to be afraid. The important thing is to keep going. It was that message, which he may never have fully realized, that became a beacon of hope for so many in the army. A fan once told how they decided not to give up on a tough life test just because they remembered how Jungkook kept singing until his voice was hoarse to achieve his dream. This is his true legacy, a legacy far more valuable than any sales figures or chart records. Behind the scenes, away from the spotlight, he builds his own world full of silence and simplicity. A world where the global superstar spends time painting, learning new things like flying in space, or simply enjoying his solitude while fishing. It was these moments of silence that recharged his soul, which allowed him to again give light so brightly. Jeon Jungkook is not a myth created overnight. She is a beautiful mosaic of every little failure, every exhausting exercise, every tear shed in silence, and every brave step taken despite a racing heart. Her story is living proof that dreams, when nurtured with perseverance and humility, can not only come true, but can illuminate the way for others to follow in your footsteps. This is Jeon Jungkook's true legacy, not just record-breaking music, but a life of inspiration. And it is that, layer by layer, we see that behind that shining title of Golden Magne, there is a human being who has chosen to constantly forge himself to be better, not for praise, but for growth itself. He does not ask to be anyone's hero, but through his honesty and sincerity in every step, he involuntarily becomes a mirror that reflects hope. Every time he falls and rises, he gives permission to all of us to do the same. Every time he admits his doubts but still steps forward, he teaches us the true meaning of courage. His story is about how a simple love for music, for performance, for the people around him can develop into a global force capable of uniting millions of souls from different parts of the world. It is not about cold perfection, but about beauty in the process of being. Jeon Jungkook is, above all, a living reminder that the greatest success is not about reaching the top, but about still maintaining your humanity and meekness during your journey there. And perhaps that is the most inspiring lesson that he never put into words, but that he lives every day, giving light to ARMY not only on stage, but through every choice and every step he takes in his life.